Bienvenidos al El Noche Podcast, episodio 29.
Uy, muy bien.
Hoy vamos a hablar Encanto.
Encanto. Colombia te quiero tanto. Yeah,
Ba, ba, ba,
yeah,
ba.
yeah, yeah. Okay, no, we're gonna do some English in here. I'm not full
All right,
bilingual.
let's begin, Caroline. We're talking Encanto. This is a very big movie,
Yeah.
and we're talking about it in a post-Encanto universe. A
Yep.
lot of time has passed, a few months.
Significantly.
Yeah,
It came out what? I think it's been 6 months. It came out in November
I
of
don't
last
remember.
year.
Time is an illusion.
I think it came out. One of the trivia things I had was that it came out on Thanksgiving. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then it hit Disney Plus Christmas Eve day.
I didn't know it was going to be a movie that I would watch, even though I have young nieces and nephews, so it was
Mm-hmm.
inevitable.
Yeah.
But you just brought up that you were interested in it, and I'm like, I might as well watch it. It's on Disney Plus. You're gonna watch it. I'll watch it. Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it was. Well, you know what? My opinion has gotten better every time I've seen it. To be honest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the first time I'm like, not bad.
You're like, "It's alright."
Yeah, I'm like, not bad, not bad. Yeah, yeah. But now watching it, most recently watching it yesterday, pretty good.
It's
Yeah,
good.
pretty good.
The
Yeah, yeah.
music, I feel, also gets better and better the more you listen to it.
I think so too, especially watching it in the context of the movie. I think that adds a lot to it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like these songs are so fun to sing with other people too. Like, it's one thing to have a song that's fun to sing, that there's a lot of
Are you
songs
saying
like
this from
that.
experience?
Yes, with you, of course, and also every time, like, recently I was in the car with Ashley. We were coming home from a party and we were singing We Don't Talk About Bruno. We were singing like Waiting on a Miracle and like The Family Madrigal. And it's so fun. It's so fun when you have like somebody else to jam with and they get it. They get to say all the little things that are in the song.
Yeah,
It's
like
just
the side chatter
yeah,
and background
yeah.
vocals and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. They're so fun to sing with people.
So let's get into it.
Let's
What do
get
you want to
into it.
start? What do you want to start with? Because there's a lot to go over here.
You know, I was gonna ask you, what do you want to start with? Because I feel like there's a lot I have to say about this film, but I don't know where to start. Like I don't know where to let the conversation begin.
I'll say, let me bring up something small. We'll start from there.
Okay.
I didn't realize until just recently that they don't make a big emphasis on Mirabel being a seamstress or just really good with sewing.
Yeah,
And that's
that
her gift.
that's her thing. Like that's something she loves to do is like embroidery and sewing. Everything she has is embroidered.
Yeah, I thought that was actually made better that they didn't bring attention to it, but you can tell her
It's some
dress, her bag,
yeah,
the gift that she gives Antonio or Toñito.
yeah.
And yeah,
Tonito.
it's so nice. And it adds to the detail that I like with these 3D animated movies. You can tell that hers is like homemade. It has like its own unique stitching. And she chose like very specific, beautiful colors that stand out. And yeah, they just never bring it up. She never says like, you know, I'm
I'm a
just thinking of
fan
something off the top of
of
my head.
sewing or like I
Yeah, like I
like
didn't get
you
a
know
gift. If
me.
only I could have done dresses that made people feel a certain way or whatever. Like none of that power tied back to what I could do.
Yeah, it's like there was no in your face about it where it's like, "Ah, sis, you know me, I love like embroidery." You never see her knitting or
I live to
sewing.
sew.
Yeah, you never see that, but it's just that's something she likes and you see it on her clothing.
Yeah, so I want to bring attention to that. I really like that.
I like that there's so much attention to detail with the character's design. I was even looking up in the trivia that what her dad, her what's his name, Augustine? If you check in the Discord, the animators were so detailed that even like the characters themselves all have nods to their gifts. So, for example, like let me put like the mom. What's her name? Julieta.
Yeah. So don't
She
tell me then. There's a nod to her gift and
in
in her
her
design.
in her outfit, yeah.
All
I should have
right.
gotten a better image.
So it looks like she has plants in her pockets.
if you look at the embroidery work on her pockets, I know I didn't send you a very high quality
Yeah,
picture,
I can't zoom
but
in.
I can't zoom in either. But on the embroidery on her apron is supposed to be like herbs and leaves and food, like ingredients.
Yeah.
And then let me see if I can find Luisa. Luisa on her skirt. Here we go. She has dumbbells embroidered on the bottom
Oh,
of her skirt.
nice. Nice. I like that.
And if you look at the dad, he's got a
Nothing
flower. He's got a flower in his pocket. That's for Isabella. His one sock, like the one on the left,
is Luis's.
has dumbbells for Luisa, and the other sock has embroidered flowers for Mirabel.
Oh, look at him.
So they just, the other one is like, what's her name? Peppa. She has
Yeah, Pepa.
sun, like she has earrings that are like the sun because that's supposed to be that she like controls the weather. And so they all have little things about their gift on them.
While we're in this subject, I gotta say, you already know, but Luisa, my
As your
favorite.
as your girl.
My favorite. Yeah. The best. The best madrigal. Do you have one?
I'm a little biased to Dolores. I like Dolores a lot.
Dolores isn't.
I think she's I think she's so cute.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that she's also like kind of like it her power is so perfect for her. She's chismosa. And
What's
that's
Dolores's outfit signs that of her powers?
let's take a
Does she
look.
have one? Does she have a bat? Does she can hear really well?
I see on her skirt it looks like it has like sound waves.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I wish I could zoom.
I think that's exactly what they were going for.
She's got like sound waves on her little skirt.
Yeah, it's exactly what you would see on your computer, like a mic and then the sound waves, and then you hit it and then it mutes.
The waveform.
Yeah,
Isabella's is obvious. Is like, come on.
I don't see it.
Isabella.
She's a perfect golden
Golden
child.
child. Isabella is supposed to be the oldest. I didn't know that. I thought it was
Yeah, she says it in the
Luisa.
song.
She does?
Yeah, she says it in the Family Madrigal.
Isabella.
She says it in the order. It's yeah, Isabella then Luisa.
Oh, okay, okay. My older sisters. Isabella and Luisa.
Yeah, yeah.
I have like the order right here where it's supposed to be because I was trying to figure that out while I was watching the movie. I was like, what's the order of the grandkids? What's this grandkid roundup
Order of what?
of the grandkids, their ages?
Oh,
I wanted to figure out who was like older than who and stuff.
well, who would be considered the grandkids? Is Dolores a part of that? Because she's a cousin.
Yeah,
But
the grandkids, like Abuela's grandkids.
okay, so Dolores is in there, right? Luisa,
Yeah.
Isabella,
Camilo, Antonio,
Camilo,
and
Antonio.
Mirabel.
Yeah.
So the ages, I got them pinned down. It was, I even went through the little IMDb trivia, and it's that Isabella and Dolores are 21, and Isabella is the oldest. After that, it's Luisa, and she's supposed to be like 18, and then Camilo is 15, and then Mirabel is 15.
Oh, I thought Camila would have been younger
Now he's older than her because even in the
than
movie they say
Mirabel.
like the last gift ceremony, which was Mirabel, and they all have their gift ceremony at like the same age.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was Camilo and then Mirabel,
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't consider that. And then Antonio is
the youngest.
the youngest and the last one as of now to get his
Yeah.
gift. So I want to ask you, how do you think this miracle works? I was thinking about it because they purposely left it vague, which I think was a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, the candle just lights up. It starts building la casita and starts bringing life to this part of the forest, and it gives gifts to the family madrigal. But then there's certain scenes where this is near the middle and the end where the casita starts cracking and breaking and the flame is starting to burn out. And that's where it got me thinking, how does this work exactly? What keeps it lit up if there's even any reason behind it? And what keeps it from dying out? Because when Mirabel and Isabella are singing "What Else Can I Do," the cracks start like sealing again. They start reversing. So it's like something's working. But according to Bruno's fortune or future that he saw, she's supposed to make amends with her grandmother. But she's like working things out with her sister and is healing the house. So I don't know if it's supposed to be love in general and like just having a strong family bond, or is it supposed to be forgiving her grandmother? I don't really know. Am I the only one lost on that?
I think you're in the right direction. Actually, I think that you're almost like 100% correct because I think that's what they were trying to go for. There's really no, like, I think I told you before we started recording, there was a lot of information that Jared Bush, Byron Howard, and Lin Manuel Miranda were really upfront with what the movie was about and like what inspiration they took and how they created this character, how they wrote the song, but nobody really got into the miracle itself, the candle or anything, the Encanto. And I think that it is just supposed to be that. Like the miracle is supposed to protect the family, like cuz she was in the abuela was in like a moment of sadness and despair, and then the casita was like birthed or whatever. And then if you go against that, like, oh, this miracle was given to you to protect your family, but if you don't even love your family, if you don't accept your family, then that shows like the cracks in the house. It mirrors the I think like it's supposed to mirror the emotions within the family kind of thing.
That's good. I like that. A fractured family is a fractured home.
Exactly, exactly.
Because also I was thinking Luisa was really affected by the burning out of the candle. She said that she felt weak and she could even pick up a donkey. And then again, going back to the part where Mirabel was really trying to hug Isabella, she says, "You're ruining everything. You ruined the proposal." And Luisa can't even pick up an arepa. She was exaggerating, of course,
Yeah.
but she really got affected by it. And Isabella could still
Make
summon
flowers.
flowers just like normal, like almost like she hasn't been affected at all. But now she's just making like a cactus and things that are imperfect, like we find that in the song. So I don't really get that, and I don't think it's supposed to have too much weight in how the miracle is working. But I want to bring that up too.
I
That
think that has to do with how the person what their struggles are. So like Luisa, her whole song is about how she struggles with the pressure, and I think it's because in her mind she's losing her strength because she's like, I wouldn't have all of this pressure if I didn't have my strength. And so then that's where it falters. It's like you lose that confidence or you wish that you had something more normal and then the powers start going away. And then with Isabella, she's always under this expectation of being perfect and always feeling like she has to appear perfect. But the she loses her temper and she starts yelling at Mirabel, and that's where she's allowing herself to not be perfect, to be angry. And that's when the cactus pops up because it's like, here, a little byproduct of you letting the mask slip. But that's something that she's never explored in herself. So they're experiencing two different kind of side effects with this crack, but they're also exploring new parts of themselves, the whole insecurity aspect and the what if I don't have to be perfect all the time aspect.
and then we don't get to see a lot of what's happening with Camilo or
Yeah, the cousins get kind of
Dolores.
sidelined.
Yeah.
Dolores gets that whole kind of it's like a little side plot with Mariano. She has a thing for him.
Was
He
there
told
something else
me that the man of my dreams.
in between like the proposal and the very end, like the All of You song where they just decide to be together? Was there something else in between?
No.
They kind of just threw it in at the end, right?
Yeah. The poor
Actually, no. You know
Mariano.
what? I'll give them a little credit because in We Don't Talk About Bruno, she says the man of her dreams will be just out of reach.
Yeah, yeah.
That's Mariano.
Betrothed to another.
Yeah. Okay.
I always like the line in was it All of You where she's like, "Mariano, what's wrong?" And he's like, "I just have so much love inside."
Yeah.
That always gets me.
How did he break his nose again? I saw it recently and I
Uh,
forgot.
with, it's during the proposal scene. Isabela gets mad at Mirabel, and one of her, like, he's holding a pot or a flower, and the flower, oh no, a flower comes up through the tile and smacks Mariano in the face.
Enough to break his nose.
Yeah.
Wow. She's like a poison ivy now. Okay.
The thing is too is like she doesn't love him, so she's not concerned about him. And I think part of her kind of like for breaking his nose, I think part of her resented him because she's forced to marry him.
I don't know if she resented him, but she did bring up that she was doing it for the family,
Yeah.
which I think it adds to her story. I don't think it makes her like a bad person or anything.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, I would be upset at the person I'm being forced to marry. I don't think it makes her human, but she doesn't want people to see her with like negative emotions
Yeah, she has to be perfect
all the time.
all the time. But since we're on the topic, I do got to bring up that there wasn't a lot of focus on the other grandkids, and I feel like I don't know if there was time to show a lot of that, but when we first spoke about this, I think we were kind of bringing this up, or maybe I just was, but I did want to see more interesting uses of their powers or their miracles or their gifts. And I also wanted to see more involvement with the town because a big part of the story revolves around the family Madrigal being a huge support system for this town and how the whole town relies on them to have this gift so that they can provide for them and yeah, basically just keep the town running and keep it as a reliable place to live.
Yeah.
So Abuela, that's a big stress factor for her. Like, oh, we're losing the gift. No one can know. And if we lose it, we're going to lose the house. We're going to let so many people down. But we don't see a lot of the town. Only in the beginning, you see the little kid saying, like, to Mirabel, what's your gift? Tell us your gift. Blah, blah, blah. And then in the middle, no, even like right near the end, is like, hey, we're getting a little worried out here. Is everything
Yeah.
okay?
Everything
And
alright? There's nothing wrong with the Encanto.
yeah, and it's not until the end where you see them rebuilding the house. I wish there
Oh,
was a little bit more involvement with the town. Maybe they get maybe they could to talk to them a bit more, or maybe they were just a little bit more scenes in I don't know, just outside working with them. I'm not sure. I
I
don't know
think
what else they could have done, but
I think they will because I don't know if you know this, but there's an Encanto show at work
what?
in production. The new Disney CEO, I forget his name, but he just became like the new Disney CEO. He announced that he wants to turn Encanto into like a franchise, but by a Disney Plus show to explore more of the world and the other, like the cousins and the powers and the Encanto itself. And he feels that there's enough story there to expand and to grow and to turn it into a show on Disney Plus.
I don't know about that.
I'm not, well, you know, I'm gonna be a little bit of an advocate. Tangled Ever After, you know the show Tangled Ever After. I don't know. I obviously you've
Never
never
heard of
seen
it
it.
until you just mentioned it.
Wow. Okay, there's a show called Tangled Ever After. It's set after Tangled, and it's actually really good. I enjoy it. It's a really good show. And it adds to a lot of the because Tangled had the same kind of thing where it's like the magic flower and her hair heals and things like that. And so the actual tale, like the story of Tangled Ever After the show, takes the story in a really good turn. It talks about like the origin of the flower and Rapunzel goes on like this journey and everything. And it talks about how like Flynn Rider used to be a thief and her parents are not all that happy about her, liking a former thief and stuff like that. So it touches on stuff that the movie didn't really have time to touch on. And I'm hoping that's where,
So you think all the main characters will return for the show?
yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, Zachary Levi and Mandy Moore did for Tangled Ever After.
Yeah, but they had nothing better to do, right?
I
Come
mean,
on.
I think the same could be said for this cast.
I think they're going places now. This was a hit. I think
Tangled
they
was a
have.
hit. Tangled was good. Obviously not the hit as Encanto.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't say.
What's interesting, just talking about the cast, Stephanie Beatrice,
Yeah.
she plays Mirabel. She was actually typecasted. She was intended to play Luisa because of her character on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Right. Yeah. Very like
I'm the
grumpy
strong
and
one. I'm
yeah.
not nervous. And when the production team met her, she's actually the personality of Mirabelle. Like they based Mirabelle's personality off of her. Just really bubbly, really happy,
So the
and
casting people saw her and they're like, "Wait, you're not the person you act in a show?
yeah,
No way."
yeah. They were so, and this is in the notes where they said that she is such a huge Disney nerd. She had her bachelorette party at Disneyland, and she's like a huge, so much so that when she auditioned for Encanto, she sang the song "You're Welcome" from Moana.
Oh, because she had to show her vocal skills.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And so when they met her and they got like a hold of her personality, they were like, "No, she's gonna be our main character."
I wonder who they were going for Mirabel
They wanted
originally.
someone. I think they wanted somebody.
Maybe
Uh,
Zendaya.
Jared Bush described. Oh, I don't think Zendaya. Zendaya is beautiful, but her voice can be a little monotone.
I brought her up just out of popularity, not because I thought she would be a good fit. Yeah. I think they will go for like a stunt casting, like, "Hey, look who we got in the lead role, a famous name."
I'm trying to think if Disney has done that in a while. How long has it been since they've gotten famous name here?
I don't know. I don't. Well,
I mean,
Disney animation
Frozen.
specifically, right?
Frozen is Christian Bell and Idina Menzel.
Yeah,
They're not huge names, but they're
but their names.
okay. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
names. Mandy Moore, Tangled. Huh? I mean, they're names, but they don't go for like Matt Damon. I'm just putting a popular name in there.
RDJ as Mirabel.
RDJ as Mirabel's father, Agustin.
Scarlett Johansson as Mirabel.
Scarlett Johansson as Isabella. Fit the Avengers cast in there.
Aubrey Plaza as Luisa.
Chris Evans as Bruno. No, he's playing Lightyear. They already got him.
They got him. They already did the stunt cast for Lightyear.
They got him.
And good pick, I would say.
Yeah, that is a really good pick. I feel like Buzz now has Chris's hair. He's got that Captain
Yeah, I
America
think they
hair.
kind of modeled it off of Chris.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? Buzz's chin already kind of looks like him. Let's just keep on modeling Buzz Lightyear off of
Let's
Chris
just
Evans.
give him that cool cap hair.
Yeah.
Those blue eyes.
And I'm sure you already saw the comparisons, but there's a shot in the trailer where Buzz is looking at his suit and it looks exactly like Steve Rogers looking at the Captain America suit in Avengers, the first Avenger.
Why am I not
Have
surprised?
you seen that comparison photo? It's like the exact same.
No, I haven't.
Oh man. Uh,
We'll pull it up after the pod. Make a
yeah, yeah,
note of
yeah.
it.
Yeah. But just imagine, just like a cliche, like it happens in almost every superhero movie. They step up, they walk up to like the case or wherever where the suit is being displayed. So
Hmm.
like the back is to the camera, just like that. That's how Buzz is looking at his suit, and then that's how Cap is looking at
His
his
suit.
suit in Avengers. Yeah. So people just put the two shots side by side.
I want to see a play-by-play of Lightyear and Captain America and see how many scenes they've got of the same
Oh,
caliber.
and also the other comparison that you probably saw too, where you know how the first trailer ends in To Infinity
Uh-huh.
and then it cuts.
Ah!
And then they made the comparison to
Avengers.
Avengers
Ah!
cut.
These
So I
guys are
mean,
just
Chris Evans was bored for this.
they're just making space cap. That's what they're doing.
That's why I'm all in.
Bring it in, bring it in.
Oh
Bring it
yeah, we're
in,
talking
bring it
Encanto.
in.
Back to the movie.
One of the things I like about Dolores is she always talks very softly. She's like, the rats talk between the walls.
You know what? Let's get to that. I feel like there's two characters we have to address. Maybe a
Okay.
bit more, but what's your stance on Dolores and her knowing that Bruno was in the house the whole time?
I don't really have a stance. I mean, she knew, but what could really she do about it? Also, I think she's the eldest of like she's well not the eldest, she's one of the older cousins, so she was around to see Bruno um leave and things like that. And in her line in the song is like what was it like Abuela was he always had Abuela and the family fumbling because his visions were not helping the family. They weren't helping the image that the Abuela was always trying to like put up for the family as like these helpers with all these awesome talents because his visions would always give like kind of bittersweet stuff. So I think she knew that Bruno was unhappy being under like a microscope with the abuela. So when he hid, she was probably like, "Okay, I'll stay quiet. I won't tell anybody where you are."
That's not exactly how it went down. He hid so that he could protect Mirabel. That's kind of what they went over in the movie.
Yeah, yeah. That's why he hid, but I'm thinking from Dolores's point of view.
So this is the way that I've been seeing it.
Okay.
It's we know Bruno. He didn't want to leave necessarily. He did it
Yeah.
for Mirabel, and he says like he loves his family. You see that he drew that plate on the table, and we can assume that he
Saddest
eats dinner at the same time with them.
one of the saddest scenes of the movie. When I saw that plate, I was like, "Ah."
Yeah, and I think Dolores could have spoken up about it, and because I think for a lot of the family, they didn't know Bruno was. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure nobody knew Bruno was just hiding in the walls because they would have said something. I think everybody assumed that he fled. He just left. And he actually mentions it in his story too, where Mirabel says like, "Oh, I thought you left Encanto," or I don't know what you call it.
The
I think they
casita.
called it Encanto. Yeah, and he said, "Oh, the mountains are so big, blah blah blah. I decided to just stay." So I assume a lot of other people thought he just left. So I feel like Dolores could have spoken up about that and told the family, and uh, had kind of stick up for Bruno with Abuela.
No, she's just a kid. Like the abuela had such
She's
a
21.
well, at the time he left, Mirabel was it was right after her gift ceremony. So she was probably, I don't know, 5 or 6. And if you do that math correctly, then Dolores is about 13
Yeah,
ish. So she's just a kid. And the abuela has such a hold over the family. She's not gonna stand up to her. Mirabel was the only one. Like that's the whole like thing of the movie is that Mirabel is the first one to be like, "Hey, grandma, you're tearing this family apart."
yeah, but that's not her only time that she could have spoken up. What about when she was 17, 18, 19,
No, I think
20?
you're underestimating the power of Abuela. Dolores is still
No, I'm
there.
saying simply even telling her sisters, cousins, she would even say that. She wouldn't tell anybody.
No, I don't think she would.
I mean, she literally didn't. We know that. But I'm saying, should she have their
Should she?
uncle,
I don't know.
their own
Family is
uncle?
complicated.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, obviously she didn't, and that's just something that the movie decided to go with and write in. But I don't think she's obligated to. I don't think she was obligated to tell anybody where like that she's hearing
I
Bruno.
don't think so either. But I'm just saying, should she have? Would it have been a good decision to like? Was it
I don't think
a
so.
detriment to keep that secret?
I mean, as a kid, haven't you ever had like your mom and or like your parents and their siblings get into kind of a spat and you're just kind of there like, "Hey, I'm just here to have food. Like I'm just here to enjoy the food. I'm just here to live my life. Y'all work it out," kind of thing.
I think this is a little different from that. This is like if a family member you used to. I don't know. They didn't show the relationship between Bruno and Dolores, but let's say they got along well, right? Because Bruno doesn't seem like a bad guy. They got along well. They probably made good memories, and then he just left. I think there would be situations where she would go, "Ma," or like, "Grandma, I want to see Bruno. Where's Bruno? When is Bruno coming?" Nothing like that. And then like uh, the other cousins and sisters, they see this mural, and then they see a guy there. Like, "Oh wait, who's that?" Like Antonio would be like, "Wait, who's that?"
Yeah, Antonio was like, "That's Bruno?" Like, he didn't know who he was.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm just saying, if they see a mural, they see a guy they don't know, and they're like, "Who's that?" Whoa, well, that's actually our uncle. We can't talk about him.
We don't
We
talk
can't
about
say his
Bruno.
name.
That's another thing
Yeah,
too. She can't tell anybody because they don't talk about Bruno.
that's
There's
not
a
a rule.
rule.
That's no,
The
that's not a
whole
rule.
town. She was like, "My Theo Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno." The whole town was like, "We don't talk about him.
Yeah, I know that's not a rule, but
We don't talk
that's how
about
people
Bruno."
treat him.
And that
That's how
her
they're like, don't ignore him.
but her mom, like that's her mom, Peppa is over here like with the rainy clouds and Mirabelle is like, "If he had a vision, what would that mean?" You can't even say his name because Peppa's getting hail,
Well,
and that's her mom.
I think this is also combining with what I was going to ask you too, but like the whole Bruno treatment as well.
Oh,
It's
Bruno.
obviously, this
Poor
is a kids
Bruno.
movie. This is a kids movie, but he's just telling the future. He has no control over
It's
what
also
your destiny is. He just
there.
sees what's going to happen.
Yeah, his vision should have been taken as preventative. Like, hey, if you continue down what you're doing, you're gonna grow a gut.
Exactly. So I was going to go down the list here. I was going to say, what do you think about what Dolores should have done? What do you think about the family Madrigal's treatment of Bruno?
It's so messed up. Yeah, that's
Because
my.
yeah, everybody coming up to well, us, the audience, I guess, in the song, saying, "He told me my fish would die the next
The
day,
next day,
dead.
dead,
He told me I'll grow a gut. He told me I'll lose my
just
hair."
like he said.
He's not commanding this. He's
Yeah,
not making it happen.
your
He's
fate
saying
is sealed
this is
when
what's
your
gonna happen.
prophecy is read. He told me that the life of my dreams would be promised and someday be mine. But yeah, his fortunes, his visions really are not set in stone. They're always seen as like that's the thing is like people were taking his visions as fact. They were taking it as like this is going to happen to you. But it was more of like if you continue going down this road, if you don't make changes in your lifestyle, if you don't prevent this, it's going to happen. And honestly, that kind of about the movie when I was watching it this time for the pod, I was thinking about how Bruno and Mirabelle are at opposite ends of the spectrum, but they ended up in the same place, kind of outcasts in their own family. Bruno has this amazing gift and, seeing the future, but he's still ostracized by the family for not being useful enough or not bringing a good uh image to the family. And then Mirabelle has no gift, and that in and of itself is like a stain on the family. And a lot of it just has to do with the abuela and how much power and influence the abuela holds and how she values the image over loving her family.
I don't think she. I get what you mean, but I wouldn't say it like that. I wouldn't say she values an image over loving her family. I think she really did love her family that much that she got lost in the right ways of doing things. Completely banishing Bruno and neglecting Mirabel. I think we have to talk about Abuela in a little bit too, but I did want to mention that, yeah, I want to know your opinion first about the family and Bruno, because at the end, the song All of You, I think it's called,
Hmm.
Bruno starts, he says, "I got a lot of apologies to make." And then Days goes, "It's all right. We're just happy that you're here." And I'm like, hold on a second. What is he going to apologize for? What does he have to apologize for?
Yeah.
What's the deal here? No, no, no. And they said it like, it's okay. You don't have to apologize. We're just happy you're here. Nobody mentioned like, no, no, we gotta apologize.
We
We
didn't
took all
talk
your
about you for years.
yeah, yes, yes. and we took your gift as a curse. We
Yeah,
took your fortunes,
your
your
visions.
visions as destiny, or
We
like a
completely misunderstood your gift and you.
yeah. And I feel like no, Bruno still thinks that he messed up and that he has to
Poor Bruno.
apologize. And I don't know. I think there's something to be said about that, about the way the whole family handle this. And from what you're saying, I think you blame Abuela for most of it, and if not all of it.
I don't doubt that she loves her family. I do though think that she was putting more emphasis on the image and what other people thought of their family than the actual, like, hey, it doesn't matter what other people think. I love you, or I think you're good. I think you're special, and things like that. She was valuing the opinions of others more because if you go down the line, it's like she expected Isabella to just marry Mariano even when there was no love between them. Luisa has to be strong. She has to do all of this labor. Even like Luisa complains in her song, she doesn't get a break. She doesn't get a time to relax because the grandma is always sending her out to do things and to do her chores and stuff. And they're all expected to contribute and to do things for the village, for like to do these things for the family. And all of it really comes from her. It stems from her.
Yeah, but also on that note, I was gonna say, because I don't know how I feel about Abuela exactly, but I think I do lean more towards I don't see her as a bad person necessarily, but yeah, I don't think it's at first. I think it would have seemed like I want my family Madrigal to be seen as royalty and beautiful, and we have to uphold an image. But in reality, it's she's stressing out because so many people rely on her family and her gifts. And that's what she's so worried about. The reason she wants Isabella to marry Mariano is so that they can have kids and those kids can have more gifts and miracles. And she says, oh, our family will grow stronger and so will theirs. Like that's all she's thinking about. She's thinking, I got to keep this flame going. I got to keep the miracle growing. And yeah, that's what's on her mind the entire time. So I feel like I kind of give her a little bit of leeway for that.
I do
But
want to emphasis though, like I want to note, she's one of my favorite characters. I like her a lot.
Abuela,
Yeah.
so you don't see her as a bad person.
I don't see her I see her as caught up in her own worries. When like that whole backstory with Dos Oruguitas, that tugged at my heartstrings that a movie hasn't done in a while. And I feel so much
You didn't see
empathy
Sonic
for,
2?
oh my, let's not go there. We'll have to rename this episode.
All right.
But she has such an empathetic background, her origin story, the life experiences that she went through. It's amazing. And then to see where she is now with this house and this surrounded by a wonderful family. But it's amazing how you can grow and be misguided. Like how it turned from like making sure her three kids were taken care of in their house and like making sure that they all had like a good life, and then it misconstrued to like, it's in the opening line of the family madrigal where she's like, we swear to always help those around us, where she's like, we're going to help and we're going to serve the people outside of our house, like in this village. We have to always be useful. We have to always do this when, and that when you make that your focal point for too long, that gets you off the beaten path. That gets you losing focus of what really matters in a family. And that's what I think happened with someone like Bruno, where she was, because that's kind of like that's what happened in the movie. She doesn't look for him. You would think that a mother would look for her son or be like, "Hey, have y'all seen Bruno?" But she's okay with nobody talking about him. She doesn't talk about him at the table. She's not like, "Has anybody found Bruno yet?" She's okay with him leaving and being gone because he wasn't being useful to the family.
Yeah, that's where she messes up a lot with him and Mirabel,
Mhm.
where she just excommunicates him.
I was reading a really good kind of, it was a blog post about Encanto and kind of how it mirrors favoritism in family. And somebody pointed out
Sorry, all
that
middle children out there.
um middle kids, you matter. But how the grandma with Mirabel specifically, this blog post was noting that the abuela probably sees a lot of herself in Mirabel, and looking at her story from when she was that young, it didn't go that well. That's where she met her husband, but she lost their home, she lost her husband, and she found herself at such a low, low point. And she sees Mirabel and she's reminded of that.
How does she explain that a little more? How does she see herself in Mirabel?
Mirabel has no gift. She's normal. Like she's a normal person. And a lot of there's like the blog post was talking about how like a lot of her personality, her like the way she walks and talks, when it comes to like a grandparent or a parent being really critical about a grandchild that they don't favor as much as the others, a lot of like family counselors have said that it's because that grandparent or parent sees a lot of themselves within that child. And it's a little bit of like a self-loathing, or a kind of like, you remind me too much of myself when I was like at my lowest, and I don't want to feel like that again, kind of thing. Since Mirabel has no gift, and then that's the possibility of like, what if this family that I've worked so hard to build goes back to that, like to being normal, like to not having this encanto, and she doesn't want to think about it like that. So that's why she sees Mirabel as like a nuisance at first,
For a while, yeah.
for a
It's
while.
kind of messed up to think about it that way.
Yeah, it is.
Since you kind of mentioned that, I also had the question of it relates to how the miracle works, but also why was the miracle dying?
I think it started dying when Mirabel's door ceremony didn't go well. And it stems from what I think I just described with the abuela and her feelings towards Mirabel. It started creating cracks and dying, because that miracle was born from the abuela's own love and wanting to protect her family, kind of thing. Like she was going through this moment of anguish. I can't remember what was the opening line where she was like, and then at our lowest moment a miracle was given to us.
Right, yeah.
So it was during that, but whenever you're at like when you're at the peak, when you're at the top, and then when Mirabel, the door started disappearing, the candle flickers in the abuela's arms. And it's because in that moment she started already looking down on her granddaughter. And that's where the cracks started showing. So I think the miracle dies in relation to the family itself, but in particular the grandma, because it was given to her, and how she feels about her family members.
It's true. I didn't think about it going that far back to Mirabel's ceremony
Mm-hmm.
because it started obviously happening with
After Antonio's.
Antonio. Yeah, I guess his gift. That's when it's really obvious.
It's really obvious too, because after Antonio gets his gift, then it's like, okay, it's not like the family, like the power is diminishing. It's Mirabel is the outlier. She's the one that doesn't fit in. And it happened also when Mirabel wasn't in the picture. And that makes me think, what if when they were taking that photo, this is during that Waiting on a Miracle, and that's after that song, that's when all the cracks start showing up. It makes me wonder if while they were all partying and doing that and the abuela didn't see Mirabel in the party, what if she was like relieved? Because it's like, oh, she's not here to be like an embarrassment. She's not here for people to think, well, why didn't Mirabel get a gift? And that's those thoughts, thinking negatively about her granddaughter, led to the cracks.
You just reminded me of something else I want to ask,
Oh, yeah?
kind of related to that. So I brought this up before to you before this episode, but this movie has a trope of, I don't know what's it called, but basically the main character not being special, and they have to discover they're special even without powers. I think it's been done in plenty of movies and shows. But I thought during my first watch through of the movie, I thought it was a good twist, or at least maybe I was looking at it the wrong way. But I really was convinced that Mirabel was happy not having any powers. It really came across to me that way. But watching it a few times again, I don't know for sure, and I want to know what you think, because in the beginning, I feel like they really bash her about it when she seems completely content. And there's even lines in the songs where she goes, "My family's amazing, and I'm in my family." So she considers herself amazing too, and she doesn't like pout or she's not down on herself when she's talking about not having a gift or anything. The only thing you could really call out is that she was not telling the kids for a while, but maybe it was to not disappoint them, not really because she was embarrassed of it. But
Yeah.
it's after that, the kids were like, "Wow, you should really feel bad about that."
Yep.
And then the delivery guy, like giving her the gift, he's like, "Hey, I gave you this. It's called the not special bouquet or whatever it was." But he's like bashing her about it too. And what do you think about that? For me, I feel like she was completely happy being herself. And I think it was like shoved into her head, like, "Hey, you are not special and you should feel bad about it."
I think she goes through peaks and valleys with that because I think she is really good at getting, I don't want to say getting over it, but she's really good at not dwelling on it. Because yeah, at the beginning of the movie, just as you said it, she's okay. Like it's more about not wanting to disappoint them. It hits her hard when Antonio gets his gift. And so she is reminded, and you see that in the flashback, she's reminded of her own door ceremony and how it didn't go well and how
But
it
that
was,
one line where Abuela goes, "Now you have a gift as special as you."
yeah,
So
yeah,
imagine, mira, no gift
with no gift. She's not special.
at all.
Yeah, so insensitive. But it hits her hard, and that's where she gets that. And even in the song where she says, like, "I'm not fine," but that song, she processes it, and after that, she is really good at picking herself up and being like, "Okay, I'm still gonna have at it, and I'm still gonna go and do my own thing." Because after that, then she's like, "I'm gonna save the miracle." She doesn't stop to think, "I have no gift. What can I do? I can't do anything special like everybody else. I should tell one of my siblings or my cousins that they'll do something." She doesn't do that. Like she just moves forward and, "I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna fix it." So I think she has her moments where and even like when she's at the lake for Dos Oruguitas and she's sitting there and she's like, "I failed. I tried to help and I didn't. I just made everything worse," kind of thing. She goes through her peaks and valleys of confidence and self and like low confidence, but I think that what makes her a really relatable and really normal character, realistic character.
That's true. Good point. Not completely one or the other, but unsure of herself.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true.
Do you think that at the end of the movie she should have gotten a gift? Or no, you liked that she stayed? No gift.
I like. That's a good question. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I can't think of all of them off the top of my head. But right off the top of my head right now, I'm just thinking Sky High and My Hero. I'm sure there's more, but there's
Yeah,
characters who
yeah.
don't have powers, right? And
And they get powers, and that's the whole point of like of
I think
their
it's
arc.
better when they don't have powers. So I think this is done better. Yeah, I think she learned that she's special, and she even saved the whole family by just being herself. And I think
Th-
that's a much better story.
That song, the All of You, when it ends, when they gave her the doorknob to open the house and they say like, "What do you see?" And she's like, "Me, all of me." Oh, I start crying.
Yeah,
I start tearing up.
nothing's missing. Is her?
Nothing's missing.
Yeah,
It's so good. And it's such a, for those stories, Sky High, My Hero, they do well. Like those are still good, inspiring stories, but it was a little, I can't think of a story where it's like, "I'm not special." And then they stay not
yeah,
special.
not special. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I even remember, I was looking forward to this movie, as you know. I even remember thinking, I wonder what gift they're going to give her in the end. There's no way she's not going to stay not special. Like, there's no way she's going to stay not special. And when she stayed, like, I remember when it ended, I was like, she never got a gift. But the payoff was so much better. She got something worth more than a gift, acceptance and her love of her family.
She got a family.
She got
She
her
got her family
family.
back.
Yeah, she got her family's love. They're all tighter. They're all more closer.
My assumption is always, oh yeah, they're not gonna have powers. That's always my first guess. Like, oh, okay, they don't have powers, they'll never get it, but they'll learn to accept themselves.
They'll learn to improvise, adapt, overcome.
Yeah, and for the most part, that hasn't been the case. But
For
I think it's a better
the
story
most
that
part,
way.
it finally did.
It finally did,
Now,
because that's the whole point, right? You have to learn to accept
yeah.
yourself. Not like, yeah, now I can fly.
Woo!
Yeah, now I'm special.
But but it's so true. I think that that was one of the themes of this movie too. It's not just like, oh, we should love our family and things like that, but it's also Mirabelle's own personal journey of accepting yourself and loving yourself, and she's never like the thing is at the end of the movie she's not like, oh, I'm still not special. Like she sees her worth at the same level as her family, and I think that's great.
And you know what? I'll take it one step further. I thought the whole family was going to stay without gifts.
Oh, wouldn't that have been interesting?
Would that have been a letdown or would that have been good?
No, I think that that would have been good. I would have liked that ending. I like the ending we got, don't get me wrong, but I would have also liked it if they all stayed normal, where it's like, we don't need an Encanto. We have each other.
Yeah, because they're showing, hey, we could still help you guys. We're
Yeah.
working together. I don't have to carry 12 donkeys. We could just, they walk, they have legs.
Yeah.
We'll guide them.
They walk. They
We'll
have
guide them to
legs.
the church.
We'll do things the old fashioned way we always
Yeah.
have.
They're helping each other, put up the bricks. They were planting the flowers. And it's like, oh, that's a great ending. They're showing like, hey, we're still special. We can still get this
Yeah.
done. Mirabel could sew clothes for the village and things like that. They didn't show that, but I'm
She
just
could
thinking
have.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she could have. But yeah, they got their powers back. I'm sure it'll make for a good show.
Now, Tony, if you could pick any one of the Madrigal powers, which would it be?
Oh man, there's some good ones.
Should I give you a list for our listeners while you pick one?
I already know them. Super
Okay.
strength, super hearing, shape
Shape-shifting,
shifting.
seeing into the future,
Yeah, seeing
making
into the
flowers,
future, making flowers that could break people's nose.
changing the weather,
No, that
uh,
was not good. You can't control it though.
uh, food that can heal.
I was thinking about that one. That's pretty good too.
Um,
But could it heal you emotionally? Because that's what I need.
that's what comfort food is for.
That's what burgers are for.
That's what pizza is for.
So we all have that power already.
Speak,
McDonald's has that power.
speaking to animals,
Ah. Oh, I was thinking about that one during the movie.
Antonio.
I was thinking, would that power ruin the cuteness of animals? Would some of them be jerks?
Would some of them be jerks?
Yeah, do you think? Like you see a cute little pig and they're like, oink, leave me alone. Do you know what I'm getting at? Like you'll start seeing them a different way.
Isn't it? That's like people. You never know what you're gonna get. Some people are jerks.
I know, but right now 100% of animals are cute and lovable.
Lovable and adorable.
But if you hear them
If
speaking and what they think, it'll probably go down to 50%.
if you meet like a dog with attitude.
Yeah, imagine your own dog who you love, and then like you start hearing like they're annoyed of you or something.
Oh no!
Like you don't take me out enough or whatever.
If Lukey was to talk smack about me, I would never recover. Never.
Exactly. So would you risk
He
hearing his
wouldn't. He's
thoughts?
loyal.
Exactly. Keep that image. Keep that illusion going. So no, I won't choose that. I would say I don't want to grow flowers. Shape shifting is kind of interesting, but I'm leaning more towards Dolores, like hearing anything
Ooh.
or
You would be chismosa. You know all the gossip.
yeah, except I wouldn't I wouldn't gossip about it. I'll just
You
hear
just
it.
keep it all locked in. This is all for news.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it could be very useful.
Really?
It could be very useful, yeah, depending on where you're standing. And what else?
I'm trying to think of where you would stand at like a comic shop,
I would
hearing everybody talking
stand
about
near Xbox
what
HQ and start hearing leaks and
near
rumors.
Bethesda.
Bethesda, hearing what's going on.
We can't get Starfield done in time. We're gonna have to delay it. No,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna go and report on like GameSpot.com.
Oh man, I'll be the best journalist.
You would. You really
I'll be
would.
breaking that, but I'll be. Is journalism just gossip?
It's a leak. Some is, some isn't.
Yeah, like tabloids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
TMZ would love you.
Yeah, hearing things is basically just, I guess, is just for gossiping and bad news.
Yeah, because what else? This is a little bit of a tangent, but what did Dolores even use her powers for?
That's one of the things that we're talking about. The powers don't really get used all that well.
How I want to know, but like, okay, Bruno got ostracized because his powers weren't helping out the family, but Dolores hears really well. How is that useful? How do you help people with that?
She could hear a stampede
I
coming.
can hear your heart murmur. You should go get that checked by the doctor.
Yeah, she could be a lawyer like Daredevil. Basically anything Daredevil could do, she could do now. That's her power. She could be a lawyer and tell when somebody's lying, their heartbeat picks
She can
up.
hear them walk into the room, be like, "I know you're here."
She was able to hear Mariano say he wants to have five
He
babies
wants
with
5 babies.
Isabella. Yeah.
He
I
writes
don't
his
know.
own poetry,
And how
and
does
he
that
wants
help the
5 babies.
village?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
The grandma like uses her as like a secure, not a security, but like a system of like, what time do they want to meet tonight?
Yeah, that's true.
The grandma was using her as like a relations, like to keep in touch on the town. It's
Yeah.
like, what's going on? She's their TMZ.
And I think shapeshifting is very useful, but for some reason I wouldn't want to use it.
I don't know. I would feel weird impersonating people.
Yeah. Something about those two powers could be pretty deceitful and
Yeah.
more villainy, even though, there is
They
mystique.
they were used in a good way and not in a villainy way.
Even Camilo, they couldn't even use him for anything all that useful. They were trying to make it seem useful when he was running towards a candle and he's turning into like a little kid, a bigger adult, but it didn't really work all
Even
that
when they
well.
were setting up for the party, he turned into Jose, the tall man.
Yeah. So let me decide on one. Ah man, but I think it's a boring answer, but I think Luisa super strength is really useful.
I'm the strong one. I'm not nervous.
Yeah, imagine just being really strong. That's helpful.
Under the surface. Mine, at first I was leaning Isabella, but my my de facto one that I know I would pick in a heartbeat now is the mom is cooking.
Yeah.
Think about it. Anything I cook,
Broken bones.
broken bones, hurt eye, just be like, "Oh, you're injured here." Have
Man,
one of
I
my
wonder how far that goes though. Like
cancer.
cancer, the ultimate evil of this world.
The ultimate sickness that we still
Man,
haven't
that would
healed.
be an amazing. Like just work in the hospital. Work as a hospital
I would work in the
cook.
hospital cafeteria.
That'll be really useful. That's true. But can amend a broken heart though? That's what I'm.
Depends on what I cook.
Or is that a tub of Ben and Jerry's?
I'm gonna make you a nice chicken fried steak with some mashed potatoes and gravy. That'll mend it right up.
I don't know how to cook, so I'm gonna be making people oatmeal to cure their broken
That's
bones
not
and
gonna
ailments.
that's gonna cure broken bones and ailments, but they're gonna be like, "Oh, oatmeal again."
Sorry. Do you want to be cured or not? Is that or cereal?
and and this cereal ain't gonna cure you because I'm just pouring milk.
Listen, do you still want a sprained ankle or do you just want to complain about my stale oatmeal?
Now I would use that to the works. I'd bake cookies and
One
just
bite of a cookie, right?
have a cookie.
Yeah, that is so useful. But I made my decision.
Super strength it is.
Super strength, it is.
Under the surface.
I don't really have that much more to say except for the the animation in this movie. I think
Oh, it's beautiful.
it's incredible, and I think is not really brought up. And it got me thinking because for a lot of these movies, the animation is not really spoken about, like how high quality it is, except for Toy Story 4. I remember like people really bringing up the details of what Toy Story 4 was going to be showing. But for everything else, I feel like, yeah, they've come a long way with 3D animation. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just something we've come to expect and it's not that amazing anymore, or if it's easy to accomplish because it's like 3D rendered or something. I really don't know what it is. But while I was watching like the musical numbers and just like the conversations and the expressions, and again, I bring up like the dresses and the dancing and how it waves around and stuff. I just think this is really, really good. Like really good. Like the lighting, the reflections off the hair, the ashes at the end of the movie where the casita is completely torn down, the fireworks when Mirabel is singing her, what's her song? I don't know. She's like revealing that. What's it called? Oh, Waiting on a Miracle, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Waiting on a Miracle. The fireworks and the sparklers as the little kids are running in slow motion and stuff like that. I think all of that looks really good, really, really good. And during We Don't Talk About Bruno, like the way the camera is moving is like it's like they made a real camera move around through this 3D space, and just like the storm, the umbrellas being blown away. I, I don't know, it was amazing. I was really just staring at it in awe. Like this looks really, really good.
The scenes that like blow me away, like for animation detail, is when Mirabel comes out of Bruno's tower and like the sand all in like her hair and on her face. The so detail work and meticulous where you see like the textures against her. Another one is it's a scene in Under the Surface when she's like, I'm the strong one. I'm not nervous. I sent you a picture. You can see the fine hairs on like the back of her neck. Just
Yeah.
that's so detailed.
Yes.
It looks so good.
The
It
details of
looks
the clothing, the stitches of the
yeah.
clothing.
Look at even like the texture of her hair. You can see it's that soft curly. It's just wow.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It's impeccable. It's really impeccable.
So I don't know. I did we reach a point where all of all of 3D animation looks as good, and we don't have to acknowledge it because I'm
I
still
think
impressed.
it's good to acknowledge it because Disney has just come such a long way in their 3D artwork too and their 3D technology. They haven't been doing it that long. I think they've only been doing it for about 10 years, which in comparison to the overall lifespan of Disney is a long time. Like and it's not they've only been doing it for 10 years and these movies have been out like they've been making movies for
Yeah, it's a fraction of the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But to be able to come this long of a way and to revolutionize this detail work in 3D technology is amazing because 3D technology like 3D animation is good. It's the way of like where people are going. But think about like 3D animation and people would think of like Despicable Me, which is, okay, but it's not detailed. It's really cartoony, but Disney animation is like we're going to make this lifelike animation. It's going to be so down to the wire, so down to the details. It's just really good.
Yeah,
Like,
they keep the characters looking a little, cartoony still, but that's intentional because their face, their hair and clothing that looks super realistic. The environment looks super realistic, but they still look like characters,
yeah.
like in an animated movie, which is great. I have no problem with that. But yeah, it's just I was I was just really enjoying all the little details on this rewatch. I think there's so many scenes that there's things that happen really fast. Like think about the proposal scene where Dolores is spreading, the gossip of what she heard, and then so many things are happening. The house is cracking down. Luisa's bringing in a piano. Mirabel's trying to hide the crack on the floor, and then the plant's growing up, and the rats are stealing things, and it's really, really busy on screen. Everything's happening so fast. The pacing is just like rapid, and then the camera work is just swaying, keeping up with it, and that's only one scene. There's a lot more like that, like at the party and at the very end where they're dancing, like they got the casita back and things like that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
And it's not just like the animation too, and even like I don't know, I guess cinematography, scene setup, the way that the camera turns and things like that in the animation, but it's also each character is so like there was even though their gifts weren't like super utilized in the movie, like all of them, but their character and they were written with a lot of care. I like that Dolores speaks very softly, but then Camilo, as like her younger brother, he's always loud. He's always like ah, because it's like he likes to annoy his older sister a little bit. It's just like little tidbits, and how Beppa is like always making sure she's calm and she's always wary of her emotions because of how it affects the weather. But then she's married to a guy like Felix who's always like, hey, like he's just a really happy go lucky. All of their personalities, they weren't just written like generic. I was reading that in the earlier production for like the story, their intended, I guess, kind of purpose was to make Camilo Mirabel's rival. Like he was supposed to be like her bully slash rival and not have it be the Abuela, which is interesting. Like I don't know how they would have, obviously because this was scrapped and they did go with the Abuela, but they were exploring and thinking of different ways even to pin down each character. I like that like Mirabel's parents don't worry about her not having a gift. They love her like unconditionally. And her dad is like, "Hey, you know what? I'm not special. Like I don't have a gift either." What did he say? Like in a family full of exceptional people, it's easy to feel unceptional, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was good.
he's like, but we still love you, and they still call her like mi amor, and he stands up for her multiple times. It's like, I like that there's still little tidbits of detail work that we see in the movie. They really did a good job at capturing how family interacts with each other.
I would have liked to have seen more of that, like we were talking about earlier, but you can only do so much in the runtime that they have.
I thought this movie was kind of short,
It
but
was.
when you look at like the runtime of some of those classic Disney movies, it's longer. Like Beauty and the Beast is an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30, and this one is an hour and 40. What's the
Yeah,
run
yeah.
what's the runtime of Frozen? That's like a good
But I think we've been
comparison.
getting used to the 2 hour mark, depending on who you ask. I know some people want to go back to hour and a half, and I get
Yeah.
that. I totally get that. But I don't know. Some movies do need a little bit more time.
This one I think would have done well with an extra 20 minutes, but it's still good with an hour and 40. It has the same runtime as Frozen.
Yeah, I think these 3D animated movies, they usually stay around an hour and a half, or in this case, an hour 40.
Mhm.
Do any of them ever hit the 2 hour mark? I don't think so.
Animated
Check Toy Story
movies
4. That's the only one I'm thinking about that could have
2
possibly
hour.
been that long.
I'm getting a lot of I put like list of longest animated films. I'm getting a lot of Studio Ghibli. We know that.
Oh, yeah, those are long.
Incredibles 2 is 2 hours.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. It kind of felt like 2 hours. Sorry,
You
Incredibles.
feel that's a movie that needs to be shorter.
That's a movie that needs to be a little bit shorter. What did they fill in 2 hours? Well, what did you say? Toy Story 4?
Yeah.
Toy Story 4 runtime. An hour and 40.
Oh, all right.
It's
That's a sweet
Encanto.
spot.
That's the sweet spot.
All right.
I checked my Toy Story 2. An hour and 30. Toy
You're
Story
checking
3.
three?
I checked 2 and now I'm
Oh,
checking
two.
3.
Two is an hour and a half. Should be.
2 is an hour and a half. Toy Story 3 is an hour and 40.
Toy Story 2 goes by quick, but they make good use of their time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite of the Toy Stories.
Yeah. But Caroline, do you have anything else on Encanto? Because that's what I brought to the table.
I
That's what I brought to the casita.
The other stuff I have is related to the songs. So I'll say it as we go down the rankings.
Yeah, I realized we didn't mention it at the top, but the title is going to tell you we are ranking the songs. We will always rank
It's
the
a
songs.
musical.
If
This
it's
is
a musical, it's being ranked unless we're unsure if it's a musical, we will not rank it.
No, I'm here to decide whether it's a musical or not since
But so far, we've ranked every single musical we've
I,
spoken about.
we shouldn't I don't think going forward we should ever see a musical and be like, "No, we're not going to rank this. We got to
No,
rank
that's
it."
never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen. But we do have to discuss if it's a musical or not.
Oh, okay. All right. No, this is a musical.
For
Definitely.
example, is Toy Story a musical?
No, it's not.
It
Toy
has
Story,
many songs in there.
it's not a musical.
Toy Story 2 has Wheezy singing.
Woody's Roundup. Come on, it's
It
time to
has
play.
Woody's Roundup, and it has "You Got a Friend in Me" sung in the reality
Yeah,
of the
but at the
movie.
end, that's a movie that has music in it. It's not a musical.
All right, that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, we're gonna be ranking Encanto, and we will continue speaking about the movie as it relates to each song. And that's it. Let's begin. Oh yeah, and Caroline, how many songs did we rank, and why did we rank this amount of songs?
There's 8 songs, and we didn't cut out any like Camp Rock.
No.
So yeah, there's 8 songs that are sung by the cast,
And
and
then there's why are there so many more on the actual soundtrack? Is it
that's
for
the soundtrack, like the actual soundtrack, the music that plays in the background.
Okay, yeah.
That's like if you want to hear the music from the movie.
But then you have two oruguitas.
Oh yeah, the English version.
Yeah.
Hi, oruguitas.
Two
Don't hold
oruguitas.
on too much.
We'll get
the
to that. We'll get to that.
the English one is really interesting to hear. I mean, I was surprised. I heard this is just a little side note. Un poco loco in Coco is in English, but I found out they adapted Un poco loco and Remember Me for Spanish, like for the Spanish release of Coco. And so I went back to hear like Un poco loco in Spanish, and it doesn't sound as good as the English one. I was like, that shouldn't be possible.
Wait, but
Spanish
are
always
you
makes
biased though? Because maybe the
no,
first one you hear is usually the best one you
it
hear.
doesn't flow as well.
What do you think about Dos Oruguitas and Two Oruguitas?
No, Dos Oruguitas is great. I don't Two Oruguitas is well, that's what I was getting at, is that Spanish version of Un poco loco doesn't sound as good as English, but Two Oruguitas still sounds beautiful in English. It still sounds good.
I'm just trying to think. Is there an example of a song that sounds better, or a version of a song that's better
Than the
than the
original.
original? Yeah, than the first one that you heard.
Yeah, there's a couple that I have heard in my everyday music listening that I'll hear like a different version and be like, "Oh, I like this one better."
Demi's "Let It Go."
Demi's Let It Go. But like even
Is
like
it better?
there's like a worship song. Like I heard the original one and then I heard it covered by another person and I liked the cover more. Like that happens.
I have examples of that too. I guess I was thinking about this scenario specifically. Like,
With
I
like
guess a
a
translated
movie.
song, right? A
Yeah.
translated song
Yeah.
in a movie. Because I have a lot of songs that I think the covers are better, and I stick to the covers. But, anyways, we're ranking 8 songs here.
We're
All
ranking
8
8
songs that
songs.
get sung in the movie.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Caroline, I really thought these over.
I did too. I think I told you about this before we started recording, but I'll say it on air. I was struggling with nailing down my rankings because I would put like one song over another and be like, no, but I can't put this song at this number and all of that. And I'm still kind of, but this is, I gotta be true to myself. This is my ranking.
I only struggled with 2 songs, really, maybe 3, but I knew which ones were the right ones, and I surprised myself. So let's begin. Let's
Let's
start with number
begin.
8.
Number 8.
I think we're gonna have the same number 8.
Oh, oh,
Maybe
oh,
not.
okay. Let's find out. You want to go first? I went first last time.
I'll go first, sure. My number 8 is "Waiting on a Miracle."
That's my number 8.
Yeah,
Yep.
knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
It's a good song. It's really it's nice. It has a lot of meaning,
But
but Stephanie Beatrice has a good voice.
uh-oh.
It's a good
You're
voice.
doing the compliment sandwich now.
It's a
Uh-oh.
it's a good voice.
Here's the first loaf of bread. Okay. Now
and
let's get the
and
negative comment in
and
there.
the lyrics are really good.
Oh, still on the
And
loaf of bread.
she's really she's really a really good voice actress.
Okay.
But one of my things against it is that it's not the best vocals, not the best
There it is.
singing.
There's the baloney.
That's really, like, the only thing I have against it. Other than that, it's a great song. I think maybe it's just not as singable as the others. It's not as memorable.
I think the movie enhances the song a lot more because when you see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
firework,
It's also coming, like, right off of the precipice of this really heart-wrenching scene of, like, the family taking a photo without her. They're leaving her out, and they all look so happy, and she's, just coming off of this, like, uh so you feel bad for her, and then she does this song, and you're like, "Yeah, girl, I get it. You're just as special as they are," kind of thing.
yeah.
But then the visuals with the fireworks, and she has like that moment where it's like those gold sparkles go up, like the mountains and the flowers and the
Yep.
trees that enhance the song itself. But when you hear it on its own on a soundtrack, it doesn't go up to par.
I think she has a great voice. My problem with the song, it sounds a little repetitive.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
That's the only thing. And is not that exciting to sing. But it's good for the movie, and I wouldn't call it bad either. I think
Yeah, I
these 8
wouldn't call it
songs are
bad.
very good.
None of the it's not like Camp Rock. Camp Rock, it was like, oh, like the 6 and below are bad songs. None of these songs are bad. I don't think any of these songs are bad.
I wouldn't say these songs are bad. No, no.
Yeah.
It's just the lowest of the good ones. Let's move on. Number 7. What do you got for number
Number
7?
7. Oh, I'm sorry, little one. My number 7 is Under the Surface.
Surface Pressure?
Yeah, Surface Pressure.
Wow. No.
I'm sorry.
I can't believe how wrong you are with your opinion.
What? What?
Number 7?
Number 7.
Oh my gosh. You think so many songs are better than that? All right. Wow.
It's a good song. I'm not diminishing it in any way.
Yeah, but you think every other song that comes after is better.
Yeah.
No way. I can't
Yeah.
believe that.
Yeah. It's
I can't
good.
believe that.
But when I think of Encanto, that's not a song that I catch myself singing.
It doesn't represent Encanto for you.
No, it doesn't. It's not the song that pops in my head when I think of, like, even this week where I was like, oh, I'm going to watch Encanto. And all these other songs were like getting stuck in my brain and things like that. But Surface Pressure wasn't. It wasn't sticking it to me.
I am surprised. Surface Pressure got snubbed. Hardcore. Hardcore. Your list is already an abomination.
What? That's not true.
Your list is a fractured casita.
No, it's not.
The flame would burn on your list.
You're making this a fractured podcast.
This flame is out. It's out. The miracle is gone
We're
from your
losing
list.
the Encanto in this podcast.
Oh man. All right. All right. I'll hold off. I'll hold
Okay.
off.
Uh-huh.
My number
Uh-huh.
7 is All of You.
Okay. All of you, all of you.
It's a very nice song. Again, like we said, none of these are bad. And I don't I don't listen to it as much as the others, and I don't think is as memorable, but it has very cool moments in the song that I like. Uh I like Luisa's part. I'm trying to think of it now.
Oh,
Oh,
but I cry sometimes. So do
sometimes I
I.
cry.
So
No,
do I.
no, but when she goes, I may not be as strong, but I'm getting wiser. I like how she says wiser. That's my favorite part.
Now I need sunlight and fertilizer.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a
But yeah,
whole
it's
there's
nice and it's emotional.
it's man, like I said it earlier, but I was like when it hits and it's like, what do you see? Me. All of me. It's like, ah,
Yeah.
it's so good. That song also has a lot of changes in melody and in tone. For me, the only part that kind of makes it like a little bit like record scratch, like stop, is when Bruno does his thing where uh he's like, I'll start. He's like, Peppa, I'm sorry about your wedding. Don't mean to be upsetting, kind of thing. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
it breaks off into like this other rhythm and then it stops and then it goes back to like when the villagers come in and they're like, lay down your load. It's like, okay, now here's a different rhythm. It has a lot of it's a very Lin Manuel Miranda thing to do. It's a very Lin Manuel Miranda song.
I like Bruno's part because of that. I think it I don't think he has a very good singing voice, but I like the way it sounds in the song.
Yeah, yeah. Let it in, let it out, let it go.
And I like Abuela's part too, where I gotta remember the lyrics for these, but she's like, isn't that the one where she goes, "The miracle is you,
Yes,
not the gift,
it's
just
just
you."
you. The miracle is you.
I like her voice.
All of you, all of you. That's that. I'm sorry I held on too
Too
tight.
tight.
Just so afraid of losing
But you
you.
gotta be
I'm
more
like,
grandma about it.
oh yeah, yeah. I gotta go.
Hold
Short.
on too tight. The miracle is you.
All of you, all of you.
It's a good song. It's a good song, but
It's
not higher than 7 is exactly 7.
okay, okay.
I feel the fracturing in this, Casita. Casita, elbow nudge. Let's move on. Number 6.
Casita, elbow, elbow nudge, Sita.
Elbow nudgecita.
Number 6.
Number 6.
It's you.
My number 6 is the Family Madrigal.
That's mine.
Oh, all right. So we're bringing balance. We're probably like
Balance. This
we're healing the
casita,
cracks.
this encanto can be mended.
We're eating arepas right now, taking little nibbles at arepas. All right.
Arepas con queso, healing our hearts.
So why is it your number 6?
It's my number 6 because I like the songs above it more, but also yeah, it's good. It's so catchy with floors, drawers. It's
Doors.
it's a good opener. I'll tell you what though, it's a really good starter to the movie.
Yeah.
With the it's such a great like bang. It's got that Colombian influence in it
Dun,
with
dun, dun, dun,
that I
dun,
think it's what
dun,
it's an
dun.
accordion that it starts
Yep.
off with. It's got that accordion, it's got the drums where you've got that boom 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 drawers. It's got all of that influence mixed in and it's so ecstatic to listen to. I like the changes in the beat where it's like, I think it's time for a grandkid roundup.
Grandkid
Grandkid
roundup.
roundup. It's really catchy, and that's such a ingenious way to help you memorize what everybody's powers are. Where you have all these characters, and it sticks in your head. Where it's like, my cousin Dolores can hear a pin drop.
Yeah, but then they break it down fast.
Oh yeah, at the
The
end,
lyrics are going
I
100
can't
miles an
even.
hour.
I ain't even gonna attempt to do that. Me,
Also,
what
the
up?
accordion. Remember when Maribel, she's like playing the accordion for a little bit,
Oh
and
yeah,
like her shoulder dance was really good.
I
Do you remember
love
that?
her dancing. She's like, I'm part of the family, Madrigal, and she does her hands up like that, like dun dun.
This song is very catchy and a great opener, and I give it credit for being a great opener because it's not often that the first song is a big, explosive, exciting song. I immediately thought of High School Musical too, but
I immediately thought of Greatest Showman.
yeah, that yes. Um, but I guess it could come out exciting because you want to get the people's attention. But is I think
It's a good intro. That the thing
it's a
is like
good intro.
it's the whole story is about the family Madrigal, and it's welcome to the family Madrigal. It's the intro. It's like, hey, these are our characters. This is where we're gonna be centered on. It introduces everybody so well. Even the grandma, she's got, we swear to always help those around
Yeah, yeah.
us.
How's it go? Where Abuela runs the show. Is that the?
Yeah. She let us hear so many years ago.
I do have a criticism about the song though.
Oh, please share.
I think it's a little bit too long.
I think they could have ended that speedy portion at the end. Could have
Yeah,
gone a little bit shorter. That part for me is a little long, but not the whole song.
I think there's two moments where I feel like it should have ended and it kept going. The first one, I'm trying to remember how it went, but
But what about Mirabelle?
yeah, it's like kind of coming to a close, but then they pick it up again. And then the
Yeah.
second one is the grandkid roundup, grandkid.
Grandkid
Yeah,
Roundup.
that's where I'm like, oh, okay, it's still going.
It's still
It's
going.
still going. But anyways, that's it. That's my only criticism.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fair. It's a long when I was hearing it, I was hearing it while I was taking Luke a bath, that song, because I started listening to the soundtrack. And it takes me a while to take him a bath. And I remember I was scrubbing him down for his second shampooing. And I was like, wow, that song is still going. But I was jamming. It didn't occur to me how long it was until I listened to it without the movie. Like I wasn't watching the scenes go by and things like that. I was just hearing the song. And that's when it occurred to me that it was long.
It might be the longest song.
Do I have the soundtrack?
It's
I
like
can look
four
at the
minutes.
runtime. No, the longest song is All of You, but that's like the Family Madrigal part 2.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's close. It's 4 minutes and 17 seconds.
Okay,
All right, number 5.
number five.
I think
That's you.
it's me.
Yeah,
It's All of You.
all of you. Okay.
Yeah, I put that above the Family Madrigal just because it's like I said. I think the Family Madrigal and All of You, that's like part 1 and part 2 of the song, like of their arc, and obviously because that's like the last song for the story.
Yeah,
And I like the payoff of it a little bit more than I like the part 1, because part 2 it's emphasizing Mirabelle and how it brings their arc to a close. So that just nudges it a little bit above the Family Madrigal for me.
I could get that as more meaningful. Yeah, but I like Family Madrigal because it's more fun.
Yeah, yeah.
My number five is We Don't Talk About Bruno.
You put it so low.
I'm sorry, but
Tony,
there's much better
you
songs on this list.
ratted on me for putting but you put We Don't Talk About Bruno in number 5?
There's much better songs on this
Tony,
list.
Tony,
I really thought about this. I went through long walks in the
Tony.
park and thought about this.
I don't want to be mean and be like you and be all like, you're wrong, but that's
But
wrong.
so
Okay. Can,
I wanted to bring this up in the movie discussion portion, but I feel like it'll be better brought up here.
okay.
We Don't Talk About Bruno. You know, we have the benefit of hindsight. This movie came out a while ago already, so we know the effect that it's had in our life and the universe. It's the most popular song that came out of this movie.
Yeah.
I want to know, how do these songs, how does a song stand out in a musical? Like, what makes a number one song? Like, what grabs the audience to latch onto one song from a musical? Like, what does We Don't Talk About Bruno have that makes it the catchy one, the biggest one, the most popular one. Like Frozen's Let It Go or Moana's You're Welcome. Like what makes it that?
I think it's the kids that sing it and repeat it. I think of like all the millions of families that watch this movie, and then the kids, after seeing it, go home and they start being like, "We don't talk about Bruno," and the parents are like, "Oh, you want to hear that song? I'll put it on," and then that picks up the numbers, and Disney's like, "We got something special here."
So, but what's the reason behind that? Because there's 8 songs in here. What
I
makes this one the one that kids latch onto?
That chorus is catchy. We don't talk about Bruno, no,
I
no,
was trying to
no.
analyze this, Caroline. I was dissecting this. I was thinking about it because
It's
let's bring up
catchy.
let's bring up Frozen for a little bit. This is also a movie I haven't seen, by the way.
You haven't seen it,
So,
yeah?
Let It Go is the one that stood out, though.
Uh-huh.
Why wasn't it Do You Want to Build a Snowman?
Let
Right?
It Go is catchier.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
It gets stuck in your brain
And
big
Moana,
time.
why was it You're Welcome and not
It's
How
cat
Far I'll Go?
it's catchier. These are the songs, like the songs you've been listening from these movies are the ones that get stuck in your head after you watch the movie.
I was Yeah, I was thinking about this. I was thinking we don't talk about Bruno. It does have fun lyrics though. Bruno, no, no, the no edition I think helps. And the we don't talk about Bruno, I think that's automatically a curiosity. Like,
Why don't
why
we talk
not?
about Bruno?
Yeah, why not? Why don't we
Yeah.
talk about Bruno?
I was thinking about like the offhandedness of it. Like Tangled, I've always said Tangled I think is a great movie. It's one of my favorites, but it doesn't have a song that gets stuck in your head. And I think
I haven't heard
that's
it.
huh?
Yeah, nothing has stood out to reach me.
Yeah. So there was, and the whole movie is great. It's beautiful. The soundtrack is good. The songs are good, but within the confines of the movie, no song broke the barriers and just got stuck in people's brains until Frozen happened. And then that's when Disney's like, "Oh, we got like this is how we do it. This is success. We got to get songs that really get wedged, that get people singing it after they leave the theater."
But there's always that one that stands above the crowd.
Yep, and it's
And
always
we
got to
don't talk
be
about Bruno is the
the
one for
one.
Encanto, yeah.
Is catchy.
So here's my story with this song, and I remember telling you because we've had time to discuss the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, after hearing this, also, actually, I'll keep it a little bit more vague to preserve my list. But yeah, hearing We Don't Talk About Bruno, that was not the song that stuck with me. Obviously, I have it at
Mhm.
number 5.
Mhm.
Um, but
Shame.
then
Crime.
going online and then like watching videos, I start hearing the praise for this song. And I thought, really? What? I thought usually I'm on board with this. Like I love You're Welcome. I love Let It Snow. Those caught me instantly. But not We Don't Talk About Bruno. So I'm like, wait, why is this one catching on? And I really started thinking about it like that. And this was early on, near the release of the movie. I went on to YouTube to look at the views for each song, and people were talking about We Don't Talk About Bruno the most, but it wasn't even the most viewed for a while. Like for a little while. I caught it when it was like at 40 million or something. I think it's more than that now.
Oh yeah.
But there was a few other songs, I'm not gonna mention them to preserve my list, that were higher. I'm like, all right, so I'm not the only one, right? But then like a week later, it just blew everything else. Like it has way more views than all the other songs. But yeah, I don't know. It just it didn't get me, and I don't know why. I actually feel like I missed the boat on that one because usually I am on board
You know
with the
what?
most popular songs.
I think also kind of attributed to it was TikTok.
Uh oh.
I have a TikTok account that I don't post to, but
That goes without saying.
I use it to scroll through TikToks, and there was a TikTok trend where people were that scene from the Oye, Mariano's on his way. He told
Yeah,
me that the life of my dreams, and like the and Mariano's walking and you see him walking down the street with like his mom. That scene, like that became a TikTok trend where people would walk like Mariano at that part of the song.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
Man, the influence of TikTok.
I think that that's another aspect of what led to that song growing.
But also, I haven't been giving it enough credit. It's a very, very, very good song. And I want to call out the moments. You called out one of the ones I liked. My favorite part of the song is when it almost goes to a cappella and it goes, "He told me that the life of my
My
dreams
dreams would be
was promised."
promised and someday be
Yeah,
mine.
that's really good. And then the, "Oh yeah, Mariano's on the way."
He told
Yeah, the Dolores, like,
Isabella, your boyfriend's here.
that's really good.
Time
Really
for
good.
dinner. There's like a, it's called polyphonic, and it's when all of these singers are singing at once. You know, the end of the song.
Yeah, when everyone's part is being sung at the same time.
That style of songwriting is known as a madrigal, and that's why Lin.
Was it named after this?
No, that style of singing is already known in like songwriting.
No, did they name the Madrigal family after
Oh,
this song?
I don't know. I don't think so. I guess maybe it's possible.
There's got to be some sort of order where they
Or
decided
they named them the Madrigal, and Lin-Manuel Miranda was like,
we got to do a Madrigal.
we gotta do a Madrigal.
Yeah.
And that's what We Don't Talk About Bruno is.
Another part I want to call out near the beginning that I really like is the "I'm sorry, mi vida go on."
That's my favorite. That's my favorite part. Are you telling the story or am I? I'm
I'm
sorry,
sorry, mi
maybe
vida
the
go
glove.
on.
Bruno
Also,
says it looks like rain.
it's a little messed up that she says, "It was my wedding day,
It
our
was our
wedding day."
wedding day. He has to come in.
Yeah,
I
our
like
wedding day.
I love Felix's role. Like anytime I sing that song with my friends, I always want to be Felix because I'm like, no clouds allowed in the
In the
sky.
sky. No, but there's a lot of good moments. A
Got
lot of
the
good moments. But those are my favorite
umbrella.
ones.
That song is so catchy. I have it in my brain just by talking about it.
It's very good, Caroline. Very, very good.
Very good.
But I found 4 other songs to be better, and that's my number 5.
Speaking of 4 other songs, we have number 4. I guess it's
Yeah, who
me.
goes?
Is it? No,
Sure.
it's you. It's you because we just finished Bruno.
Okay.
It's you. Number 4.
My number 4 is "What Else Can I Do?"
Oh, that's a good place to put it.
Yeah.
What else can I do? Bring it
What do you
in,
have
bring
in
it
number
in,
4?
bring it in, bring it in. Number 4. Uh, Colombia,
Uh.
mi encanto.
Your list is a tragedy.
I was about to say I hesitated because since we've had time to talk about these songs, I know you like this song.
Wow, I
But
can't. I mean, it's number 4 though. That's high enough, I guess.
it's
That's as good as I can get.
it's good, but that's my number 4.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
You're listening to some arepas. There's a lot of fraction.
Do not start, Mr. We Don't Talk About Bruno number 5. Let's not go there.
This is correct though.
No, it's not.
It is. I'm not going. This isn't a popularity contest. This is quality of song.
Yeah, what? And you think mine isn't?
You're gonna put. We're gonna talk about Bruno's number 1.
First of all, I'm not spoiling this list.
Caroline, I can read you like a book. Okay.
Well, as we go down the list, we'll see how well read you are on this book.
No, I actually know what your number 1 is.
Let's not go there. We're talking about number 4.
It's not. We don't talk about Bruno.
We're talking about number 4. Why? Okay, what else can I do?
You're scared that I know it. You're trying to talk past it. You're scared I know it.
I'm sorry, Tony. Let's move on.
Go on.
What else can I do?
Yeah, so
Bring
we're
it
on
in,
number
bring
4,
it
right?
in.
What else can I do?
Yes.
This song is spectacular,
This song,
and
did
I
you know,
feel
it was
underrated.
It was inspired by, like, Selena and, like, the pop, Spanish movement that was going on kind of in the '90s,
Okay.
and so that's why Lin-Manuel Miranda's like, "We're gonna do a little Spanish pop," and that was What Else Can I Do?
Just the intro of the song, you know you're in for a treat.
For something so catchy that, "I
The
just
beat,
made something
no, the beat,
unexpected."
just the beat first. Dun, 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 dun. You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that? I
yeah.
can't replicate it, but if you hear it, it's like,
Yes.
oof,
You
this is gonna be
replicated it
good.
pretty well.
So I like that part. I like the obviously the hurricane of
Da-da-da.
Acaranda. That's beautiful.
I'm coming
It's
through with
smooth.
Hallelujahs
And I like the Flor de Mayo.
by the
The
mile.
Mayo.
That
That's clever.
that
That's
is
come on. You're
such
rhyming
good. I think
Spanish and English.
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, but I'm gonna risk it. This has the best lyrics out of all the songs.
Really?
Because yeah, it's the Spanish and the English put together, making it rhyme, and then all of these plants that she's listing are native to Colombia. So like that's just an added bonus on top
Mm,
of that.
mm.
It's rhymey, it's accurate, it's catchy.
It sounds smooth to the
It's
ears.
something unexpected, but it's mine. What
Yeah.
else can I do? Hey, bring it in, bring it in.
Bring It In is another
Bring it
favorite of
in, bring it
mine.
in. I do
Good
that
talk.
all the
Bring it
time.
in. Bring it in.
I do that in text now where I'm like, bring it in, bring it in. I
I
put
tell that
a
to my niece when I come to hug her. Be like, bring it in.
oh.
Bring it in.
It's so
So,
it's
yeah.
good. Colombia Mi Encanto is such a good song. It's so happy and joyful. That Colombia. It's
Dun, 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 dun. Dun,
Encanto.
dun, 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 dun. Dun,
Encanto.
dun, 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 dun.
I knew from the get go with the trailer, I was like, oh, this is going to have good music. This is going to be good. Colombia te
I don't think I
quiero
saw the trailer.
tanto. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
I didn't even
good.
know what to expect with this movie,
I just
but
put it a little bit lower on my list. Well, it's mid. It's number 4. It's halfway there because I can't sing it all the way. Just that's
oh,
the
what? That could oh, what?
and
Are
and
you
it,
serious?
nobody in the story sings it. It's
Oh,
not sung by like anybody in
but we
the
just did Camp Rock, where 2 songs aren't even sung by people. You're like, "Yeah, musical," and we did that. We
the
ranked it.
the thing is like if it was not that well, those people that didn't do that did it in those 2 songs in Camp Rock, they also kind of mid it a little bit. It was like, oh, let's put this one in the bottom, let's put this one in the middle. Colombia Mi Encanto is a great song, but it just kind of got a little bit lowered because it didn't have
'Cause you
its
coulda sang it.
yes, and nobody in the movie sings it either.
Oh my gosh, how does that affect it?
It's my list.
Wow, this is why it's fractured. You have a
Also,
fractured list.
I like the top 3 more than this one.
Your list is fractured,
No,
Caroline.
it's not.
It has a dull
You're
flame.
fracturing this.
This.
I'm gesturing to the podcast.
I'm gesturing to my heart. You're fracturing this. Uh, so number 3?
Number 3.
Who goes?
You.
All right, number 3 is Colombia Mi Canta.
Ah! It's only one off.
Yeah, it's only one off.
It's only one off, Mr. Drama Queen. Fractured. You're the one fracturing this.
Hold on, but I'll explain it. Let me hear your number 3 and I'll explain it.
My number 3 is We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
it's
you
not
want to
number 1.
explain first or you want me to explain?
You explain.
All right, Colombia Mi Encanto deserves a number 1 position, but I'm making an unbiased list. I'm making the objective,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
definitive Encanto list for
Uh-huh.
all the
We Don't Talk About
Encantoneers out
Bruno.
there.
Number 5. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All right.
No, this isn't a popularity
Unbiased.
contest. This
I
isn't a.
know what
This
song
is
is your
hold on,
number 1,
Caroline.
and it's so biased.
No, you don't. You really don't. You think you do, but you don't. Now you're rethinking it, huh? You're revising my list. You're writing all my answers down.
Stop
Now you're like,
reading
huh?
me. Explain your
Huh?
song.
Did you switch them up? Huh?
No, you won't.
Caroline,
You're not the type to switch mid ranking. I know that.
Caroline, I have the definitive list, okay?
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you
Now,
don't.
this should be number 1, okay? But I put my biases aside.
Uh huh.
And
Sure.
Colombia Mi Encanto is so good. If I was the president of Colombia, I would make this a national anthem. I would invite Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'll give him a handshake and give him the keys to the city because
To the country.
this is an incredible, amazing, get out of your chair and dance song. It is life. It is the pride of Colombia. This is it's so good, Caroline. You gotta dance when you hear this. You gotta dance. And if you know how to sing it too.
Colombia. Okay.
Colombia remains my favorite place. Colombia te quiero
Tanto. Yeah,
tanto.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
It's
It's
also
a
done
wonderful
by
song.
Carlos Vives, who's like, he's a classic. He's a classic.
He could get the keys to the city too.
Yeah.
Caroline, this song is beautiful, exciting,
Yeah.
energetic. You gotta dance. It wakes up your soul. If I was Colombian, I'd be proud of this song. This is like New Yorkers being proud of Empire State of Mind and Alicia Keys. All right. This is the song. This is the song.
This is like Mexicans being proud of Selena.
Yeah. I don't know how Colombians feel about this song, but it, this I wish I was Colombian with this song. It's just so good.
They're like the neighbors of Ecuador. They're like right next to
I'm
them.
Ecuadorian. We share the same color flag, so maybe I can
They're
nudge myself in there.
geographically, they're right next to each other. It's not far off.
Yeah. So I don't know what else I could say about that. It's just amazing,
It's a
and
good song.
it emphasizes the beauty of Colombia in the movie.
Yep.
It represents the movie.
Yep. I kind of wish it went on a little bit longer in the movie, but they kind of did a little bit half
Yeah, they did half and
party,
half.
half credits.
They played it during Antonio's beginning of his
Yeah,
ceremony or
a little
whatever,
bit of the party.
and then they played it at the end again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'll take what I can get, though.
You were
Amazing
jamming out
song.
for both those scenes.
Yeah. All right, so number 3 for you.
Mine was "We Don't Talk About Bruno." It's a classic. I've been trying so hard, like after I've been hearing the soundtrack this week, to get Dolores's part. I like the way she mumble or like whisper raps. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
I like the way she does it. That Bruno always fearing, stuttering, and mumbling. It's just so good. It's
Because
so
I'm a
catchy.
falling down. That's another moment where their dancing is really good during that scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw the clip of like the animators and how they had these women in front of them that they were using for reference, and they had the skirts on and they were doing the dance, and that's how they did a little bit of mocap for this song too to do that. Those dancing.
That's great. It paid off.
But my favorite part is Camilo with his 7-foot frame, rats
Rats
so long
along
his
his
back.
back.
When he calls your name, it all fades to black. It's so good. And you hear, hey,
Yeah,
like in
yeah,
the
yeah.
background. It's so good.
It's good.
It's
It
so
really
good.
is.
From the opening, from when she starts talking, like when Beppa starts singing, oh, that's it. You're in.
The no, no, no.
No, no. Did you know he was supposed to be named Oscar? And they were going to write a song called We Don't Talk About Oscar.
Uh-uh.
But
That
when
doesn't work.
Lin-Manuel, the thing is, they ran into legal complications when they tried to file uh, an intellectual property trademark for We Don't Talk About Bruno or We Don't Talk About Oscar. And apparently they were going to get sued by somebody named Oscar Madrigal. So they were like, all right,
Whoa.
it's easier to change the song, to change the name.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they went with Bruno. And that's where Lin-Manuel was like, Bruno, no, no. And that was it. Like the
They
magic
almost didn't
happened.
make a huge hit.
They almost didn't make a huge hit. Yeah.
That's how life works sometimes.
Yep. Yep.
Let's go to number 2.
Number 2. Is it me?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, it is you because I said my number 3.
Yeah. My number 3 is What Else Can I Do? Sorry, number 2. Number 2, What Else Can I Do?
Oh, you hold it pretty high. I like that.
I like
I feel like it's
it.
very underrated.
I like it. It is a
Not by
little
you, of course.
Yeah, it's a little underrated, but that's why I'm here. I don't
Yeah.
underrate this at all. I like it a lot.
I hold this song in high regards.
I like this song.
Higher than We Don't Talk About Bruno like you, so we agree on that.
I like this song so no, let's not get there. But I like this song
We
so
agreed on it.
much.
We literally do.
You put Bruno too low, but yeah, okay.
No, no, no. We'll see. I'll show you the definitive list. We're almost there.
All right, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Surface Pressure.
What?
What did I tell you? Unbiased.
I feel like I've just sat through The Last Jedi by Ryan Johnson. My
Directed by
expectations
Ryan Johnson.
my expectations have been massively subverted.
What I tell you, Caroline, when I come to these lists, I come unbiased
You still put
with
Surface Pressure
quality.
at number 2 though.
It's really good, and
That's
I'll
not a
tell you
number 2
why.
song.
It is, though. It
Okay,
is.
okay, explain your reasoning.
All right. This is one of 2 songs, just like What Else Can I Do, that once you hear the beat, you know you're in for something special.
Really?
So as soon as you hear the dun dun dun, you hear like a beat jumping. It's like, whoa. Then you hear it one more time. Dun dun dun.
Mhm.
And then you hear the I'm the strong one. I'm
I'm
not
not
nervous.
nervous.
And her
I'm
voice is
I'm as
automatically like, whoa,
I'm as
this is
tough as the
different.
crust of the earth is.
Yeah, it's automatically different. And it drew me in. It drew me in. It's like, okay, this is gonna be good. And then just the other parts, like the how can you not love the drip, 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 it'll never stop? And then her shoulder, like a
Whoa.
drip, 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 like the shoulder dance that she does with it.
Pressure that'll tip,
And she
tip
didn't even
till it
dislocate it
gets to
either. She just went drip, 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 drip
whoa.
in
Oh,
one
she ain't
go.
no Megan Martin. She's strong.
No, no. So that was already just flowing perfectly. And then just the I want to say vocal range, but no, more like the variety of pitches that she uses in her voice. So also this song is accompanied so well with the video, like the actual movie.
Oh yeah, the music video.
Yeah, how's it go? How's it go? Where the song suddenly becomes just calmer.
But wait, if
Yeah.
I could shake this,
The
what was it?
the
This
crushing
crushing
weight.
weight.
Yes. And then she's like riding on a unicorn.
Yeah,
She's in the clouds and
maybe
everything
I'd
is
have
lovely.
room for joy and relaxation.
Or simple pleasures. Instead, we measure this
Growing,
growing pressure. That's what I like.
this
It's like
growing.
it's just like swinging. It's just like curving up. I don't know.
She has
It's
those moments because she had the same thing in All of You. I'm
ah
getting wiser.
yeah. I love it. I love how she can just change her voice like that, just swing it around. Also, she's the best dancer in the family Madrigal.
She is a really good dancer,
Very
yeah.
good dancer.
She doesn't get that credit to her. But
She
I'll
was
tell you,
breaking it down.
this song to me is the most Hamilton song. I can sense and I can feel the Hamilton oozing out of this.
And you're not even putting respect on it. From me or Lynn or Hamilton or Encanto or Columbia or our Encantoneers listening. You've disrespected all of us.
I didn't put it last.
You put it 6.
I put it 7th.
Wow. Rub it in.
Gotta correct you on that.
Gotta correct you on how bad I thought it was.
Gotta correct you on where I put it, where it stands. 7th place.
Your list, I don't know. That's like the alternate universe list where
Excuse me.
it's wrong.
No, it's
It's
not.
wrong.
No, it's not.
Come on.
You're the one over here with your biases claiming to be unbiased.
The lyrics are really fun too. It's so fun to say. Come on. Think about it.
I'm not of that opinion.
You're a Hamilton fan. Think about it.
I am a Hamilton fan, but
The I don't want to fight Cerberus under the surface. Come on.
It's not for me. I don't find it as fun to sing as you do.
Oh man, all these songs are held back because you can't sing them.
What? I can sing
Colombia
this
de Encanto,
song.
Surface Pressure.
I can
Oh,
sing it. I
man.
just don't think it's as fun as you think it's as fun.
It's a good song, Caroline. It's an excellent song.
It's not bad.
Now you're hating on it.
I know. I'm just saying it's not bad.
All right.
Number one, since apparently we have the same number one.
I knew what your number one was, Caroline, and you were scared that I knew it.
Yeah. I ain't gonna deny it.
You're like, let's go on to number six.
I'm sorry, Tony. Move on.
All right, number one is Dos Oruguitas.
Dos oruguitas
This song
enamoradas.
is just undeniably emotional, beautiful,
It's
wonderful.
gorgeous.
The lyrics are so meaningful.
It benefits so much from being in Spanish too. I think like
Yeah.
it adds a whole other layer to the depth and the character, and it also something about this song too. It feels a little old schooly, but it works because you're telling the story of the grandma. It's a simple guitar. There's not a lot of complexities to it. You don't have like all these other songs benefit because they change melodies and they switch up their music and their beats and things like that. But this song is very simple. It starts off as just a guitar and dos oruguitas. And then when it builds up and it does that whoa, you feel that the same build along with it.
Yeah, and it delivers on all fronts. It's
Mhm.
simple, it's beautiful, it's slow to start and just gets your attention. It speaks to your heart, and then it starts building up. It tells a story. This is another song that is beautiful on its own, and it benefits from the movie when you're watching what's
Yes.
unfolding.
Yes.
And then, yeah, Dos Oruguitas is just that part is just wonderful. But then once it gets to the Ay mariposas, like when it picks up.
Oh, no se aguantan más. Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good. So good.
Yes.
Aire crecer,
And,
partir volver,
this
ya
is where I was
sabes
thinking
que
about I was
seguirá.
analyzing these songs, Caroline. I was listening to it. I wanted to put Colombia Mi Encanto number 1. I wanted to put Surface Pressure number 1. But Dos Oruguitas is the
Is
number 1.
yes.
It's
Yes.
a powerful song.
For the
And I'm unbiased. One of us has to be.
you're
So I put it number
the
1.
you're the realer Spanish speaker. Oruguitas is a caterpillar, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I was trying to pin it down. I was like, it's a caterpillar.
Yeah, yeah.
The lyrics in Spanish are so good in how it talks about because you're so right. You said it so perfectly with how it tells its own story on its own and then works beautifully within the context of the movie. Where it talks about two caterpillars. That's what Dos Oruguitas is. And it talks about how they have to let go and go under their own transformations. But that because what's that song? What's that part of the lyrics where it goes nuestro milagro. That's a new miracle, right?
Yeah, or Our Miracle. Nuestro Milagro.
Yeah, it's just it's beautiful. It's amazing. There's a reason this song was nominated for an Oscar and not like the rest of the
Oh,
soundtrack.
right, right, right. Sorry, we don't talk about Bruno
They still gave a little honorable mention with
by
at
singing it.
yeah, even though they didn't do it as well, but yeah, but it's just Dos Oruguitas is amazing.
And I'll tell you what, I've seen this movie maybe 4 times now. And the most recent was just yesterday. But yesterday was the first time where I held back tears watching it, I'll be honest. When it got to that song, it hit me. It finally got me. I didn't let the tears flow though.
Was it your first time watching it by yourself or you've seen it by yourself?
I saw it by myself the first time. Then I saw
Okay.
it the second time with my family, not Madrigal, but my family. And then the third time is when my mom came down to visit, and then we showed her like, you got to watch this. There's this movie in Colombia, and then yeah, we showed it, and then the fourth time was by myself again. But that's the most recent was when I was like, dang, that's good. It got me.
I I cried every single time. I can't resist. I have no self-control in that regard. The first time I've seen it 8 or 9 times. I've seen this movie. And I cry every time.
At least we agree on something. I think, does this mean we rebuilt our casita, metaphorically speaking? The elbow nudge casita?
The
Or
elbow nudge cita?
what do you think?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think we have our own nuestro milagro.
But surface pressure, that was a huge mistake where you put it.
Hold, no, no. I think I put it
Yeah.
at an okay spot.
No, your ears don't work.
What?
Yeah.
How dare you?
You got to get those Dolores ears because, or eat an arepa because
No.
that song is a bomb.
It it's great, but I
I'm
like
only
the
seventh
other
place, Dre.
songs better.
Seventh place.
Tony, all of you, the Family Madrigal,
All
Colombia,
of
Mi
you is not
Encanto,
better.
all of
No,
you is good.
no.
All of you is better
But
than
then
Surface
surface
Pressure.
pressure? Oh my
All of
gosh.
you, all of you. The miracle is you, not some gift, just
Just
you.
you.
I want to rewatch Encanto, but with you dubbing over the grandma.
I'll dub over everybody. This growing pressure
It's
keeps
growing.
growing.
I just want to do Felix. I want his speaking roles. I'm sorry, Miva, but go on.
I had a good time talking about this.
This was great. It was nice to get a little Encanto word vomit out.
Yeah, I'm glad we addressed this. It was a very big movie that we had to talk about and rank, of course,
Of
because the
course.
songs were all these songs are just really good. So we like a challenge every once in a while, right? Ranking good songs.
Absolutely. This was a challenge. And I told you that at the beginning. I was still like unsure of some of these rankings, but I'm sticking with it. These are my rankings.
I'm so confident in my list. I don't doubt it for a
Oh
second.
my gosh.
You're very uncertain over there, and that's fine. But
You know, we do have the same first and last in the rankings. It's just
yeah,
everything in the middle gets a little bit jumbled.
this is usually how the list goes. Camp Rock was a phenomenon. I don't know how we lined up like 7 songs.
Wait till we hit Camp Rock 2.
Wait till Greatest Showman.
Oh no.
That's gonna be a mistake.
That's
I'll
a
tell you right
wild
now.
card. That's a wild card.
I
I don't
already
know
know
how
your
that's
number
gonna
one.
go. What's my number one?
I'm not gonna tell you.
What song do you think is my number one? I
I'm not
guarantee
gonna
you
tell
don't
you right
think it
now.
is.
I'll write it down. I'll make like a little prediction. I'll write down the date. I'll tell you.
Do it. Do it.
All right.
I think I've
You
said
think I don't pay attention?
my number one for that movie changes so frequently because they're all so good.
But that's it.
That's it. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you are listening to us on your favorite podcasting platform, be sure to give us a follow, hit the bell icon if you want notifications, give us an honest ranking. If you're listening to us on YouTube, give a like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you want notifications. We've been putting out some more content on like Thursdays. So, yeah, thank you all so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening, guys. We had a great time talking about this movie. Please let me know what you think about surface pressure. And that's it for now. Adios.